as well.
Wait, I just noticed we're matching.
Oh,
Amazing.
just noticed.
Yeah.
Just noticed after however many hours. Exactly, it was just one of those accidents that happen sometimes. But we are going to be getting into Game 4 of one of the matches we've not had a look at yet, and it is going to be Palmblad versus b787. And funnily enough, both players are 4-1, but Palmblad's only lost to Rojum with his crazy lineup. So that's actually, kind of cool to say that, the one loss has happened, but it's to the guy who's brought this completely off the wall lineup, which is kind of nuts. And I believe that Palmblad is actually currently one of the highest 4-1s in terms of tiebreakers.
Okay. And
b787 is one of the lowest in terms of tiebreakers as well. Okay. So this match is actually very important for obviously it's important for both players, but the tiebreaks can actually be very impactful going into the next round in the finals.
Right. And no great surprise that Palmblad has fallen to Rojum on his road here, because he does just have Pirate Warrior in his lineup, and that is basically what Rojum's entire lineup is built to farm. And I think a huge percentage of, I think 79% we looked at was brought Pirate Warrior with them. So as long as Rojum can keep queuing into those players, he's going to keep on doing just fine, thank you very much, in this tournament. But meanwhile, b787 has the 2-1 advantage in this matchup, and honestly, you'd be kind of rooting for Palmblad a little bit in this matchup based on that information that you just told us, where for him, going 5-2 with a good tiebreaker is much more relevant than b787 potentially going to 5-2 at the end of the day with a bad tiebreaker.
Yeah, and especially because, the format and the number of players being slightly different to the past couple of weekends means that there's a couple more 5-2s going to get in anyway. So if you've got the high tiebreaker, you're pretty much guaranteed at that point. So
yeah, but you can flip that on its head as well and say, even though b787 has one of the worst tiebreakers right now, maybe he can still make it through as a 5-2, and that's not to say that these players end up as 5-2 if they win this match anyway. They still have that golden 6-1 potential ahead of them. So b787 is still everything to fight for himself, but some fighting needs to be done because there is a certain minion with 7 attack, 7 health that costs the princely sum of 4 mana on the board.
I only see a minion with 9 attack and 7 health at the moment.
All right, you got me, buddy.
I'll take it. But to be fair, there is Frost Nova, there is Bruiser, Ice Block, there's even Forbidden Flame as well. There's a lot of options over the course of a couple of turns that can actually deal with this Flame Wreath Faceless, which is public enemy number 1 at this point. It's kind of point in the game with the overload for Palmblad next turn. That's got to be b787's focus to the extent where you can almost feel like with the way the hand's looking, with the Ice Block and the heal from the Refreshment Vendor, is that if you can get over this hurdle, you're in a very, very strong position.
Executive decision. B7.
Got him.
All right. So pinging off the patches is an option. Frost Nova can stall. He can pair Frost Nova with Dirty Rat, but has no real follow-up to any of those plays, which means if yet another mid-range minion, which is, as we can see, all Palmblad has in hand, if another mid-range minion was to come out from the Rat, then it would just be such a beating on him the next turn, since he has no more persistent freezes to come down after the Frost Nova, that, yeah. I think this ends up just being the best play, even though it looks so miserable, where he just leaves the 7-7 around to chill and just aims to deal with it, as you said, incrementally over the next couple of turns.
Yeah, and B7 actually got fortunate-ish in the fact that Palmblad didn't have really a strong follow-up for this turn. Obviously, Tunnel Trog is a strong minion, but when you follow up with a 1-3 and a totem, this probably as good as it was realistically going to get for B7, because there could have been, a totem golem, for example, is the 2-drop on that turn, which then suddenly the targets are very varied and difficult to deal with. There's a Frostbolt now in B7's hand, so he, not a surprise at all. This is a play you see very, very often in when dealing. Sounds like an instruction manual. When dealing with Flame Wreath Faceless, step 1, Frostbolt. Step 2, find 4 more damage.
Question mark, question mark, question mark. Profit. The rest. Yeah. Aya now can just be jammed on the board to follow this all up. B7 does have the Inkmaster in hand, so huge tempo swings are available for him if he picks up. Flame Strike primarily would be the utter nuts draw for him, but Palmblad has such a great, chunky, mid-rangey draw to pick up against a Reno deck. This is the part of your deck you do want to be hitting against these control decks. The resilient minions, the minions with high stats. These are the kind of draws that can really push you through and even compete on value in the late game against the control decks, which is just one of the many absurd things that Aggro Shaman is capable of.
Yeah, this is a very interesting turn for Palmblad, a very difficult turn. Because the Flame Wreath is frozen and there's no easy way to deal with the Water Elemental, you can't walk into a Flame Strike here. Because if you do, and you just, drop another minion on the board, if you play the Geodrake, for example, like, Flame Strike probably just ends the game. At that point, it's that bad. At this point, he loses the board and leaves a Water Elemental up, which is why he's trading into it, which this turn, based off the fact he could have played Aya, could have played the Geodrake, doesn't look good, but he could have just lost to Flame Strike at this point. So I'm actually quite impressed with Palmblad's restraint on that turn.
Kazakus Frost Nova while picking up a 10 mana potion in the meantime that he can play for free with a tempo 5/5 on the following turn. This is a huge deal. Get 6 damage to all minions to mitigate the potential 1 heal, hitting that Flame Wreath Faceless as well. That could not have gone any better for B7 that turn.
Yeah, and you know what? Sometimes that's like a Flame Strike, a Kazakus Potion for 6, which is even better than a Flame Strike when you combine it with Ink Master. And now Palmblad's like, well, Nova was your best you've got in a potion, so now Aya's going to come down to try and negate the potential AoE that's going to happen, but he's probably not planning around for these 6 damage AoE. He's probably more happy about the 4 damage, which would then leave the Flame Wreath Faceless alive on 2. But this, just give the sheep pants and then kill them all. Negates Aya, Palmblad's head goes down, and I cannot blame him. This would actually just end the game. This has just slowed the game down so much from the point that Palmblad was at just mere 2 turns ago.
Look, that expression from Palmblad just went through, I think he just went through every stage of the stages of grief just within a 5-second snapshot. There was the shock as he saw the Solia appear and realized that he's going to get hit by 10 mana. Then he saw the exact potion combination and despair hit, head slumped into the hands. And he's still got a decent follow-up here. He's by no means out of this game if he doesn't run into the other big polarizing card in the matchup in the form of Reno Jackson. He needs to keep his head up here. He's still in a reasonable position, although it's about 5% as powerful as the position he was in before that insane turn came out from B7.
Yeah, and we've seen Aggro Shaman do silly things when you start saying, oh, Aggro Shaman beats Control Warrior, and stuff like that. So, you know what I mean? It sounds kind of strange because it's the kind of power this deck has. It can actually go quite late in the game, and it looks weird if you just glance at the list and say, well, this is just all highly aggressive cards. How can it do that? But it does manage it with quite a lot of reach for a lot of the spells it has available. But Small-Time Buccaneer is not what you want to be drawing at this point when you start piling on a lot of pressure, especially with no weapon available.
Starting with the totem, of course, plenty of mana to do anything else that he wants. Hits the spell damage, which means a clean lightning bolt. There are small silver linings right now. B7, little bit of a salty smile, but I think this man needs some perspective right now of the turn that he was able to pull off on the previous turn. Realize that he's had potentially far the better of things in this matchup so far. Just keep focused, still Blizzard in hand alongside the Blood Mage. More AoE joins with the Volcanic Potion.
Yeah, even gonna just play the Dirty Rat, get out whatever's left. Now he clears off everything. Obviously, he's not gonna pull the Feral Spirit as it's a spell, but gets out the book, and that's just great value because you can actually just combine this with Thalnos into Blizzard. You're probably not too bothered about the Azure Drake surviving a turn with +1 spell damage, as you've just seen Lightning Bolt as well. So there's a few spells been knocked out, and does +1 really matter because the Drake can't attack anyway? Probably not for 1 turn.
Ooh.
And Ice Block and Volk Potion available for the worst case scenario.
Lightning for 6? No. All right, there was a very brief moment of respite potentially there for Palmblad. Now extends the Feral Spirits into the Blood Mage as well, which means Volcanic Potion is a complete blowout this turn. Blood Mage will cycle as well, has the Harrison Jones to drop just fine. Thank you very much for some additional tempo this turn. Gonna play Ice Block Ooze instead though, just for the maximum security, which I guess is fine. No great rush to end this game with the 5 attack minion instead of the 3. He's in a perfectly stable position.
As well, like Jade Lightning just gets better, right? For no real reason. Like, if you drew Jade Lightning, you could just kill the Harrison.
Sure.
You know, straight up, and it's like, what does it really gain? Like, he doesn't have to play it, so why now? And then, you know, B7's just kind of playing off the top of his deck now, and can probably do what he wants in the next few turns. Just, he can actually just play both cards now. Not that he needs to, but he can do whatever he really feels like, because you can actually just hold on to the Harrison until the weapon's played at this point. I feel like the without life tap, perfect for B7. But without life tap, Palmblad's just not really going to be able to generate enough pressure out of anywhere, especially with cards like Aya dealt with. You know, that's one of the few cards that's like, okay, I'm going to play this, and it's going to hit you somehow.
Yeah, this is the other big reasoning for B7 to go with the Ooze instead of the Harrison. It means if he does have to destroy a weapon, he gets so much more upside from destroying it with Harrison. He has the time and the freedom to do so, and that limit of time and freedom is the reason why we see most people favoring Ooze and leaving Harrison out these days. But when you're in a stable position like this, Harrison obviously a vastly superior card overall. And now just a brief glimpse of regret on B7 as he eyes that juicy 2 durability on that Spirit Claws, but of course he had to Harrison the J Claws last time.
The last 4 to 5 draws for B7 have just been repeat nails in the coffin for Palmblad. I felt like, you know, you go Harrison into the Ooze, into Polymorph just in case, into Reno. He's just not even going to bother with Reno. He's got Ice Barrier. Yeah, B7's actually just not happy with this game. He's not happy the way this game's gone. He's clearly got the bad end of the stick. And he's probably going to file a complaint to the Reno people, just to not too happy with the outcome overall. There's life tap though. So, you know, a small glimmer of hope, I guess, for Palmblad.
Yeah.
Not seeing the Reno, you kind of presume Reno's not there yet, because most people just snap play it. But,
well, I mean, also importantly, you know you're never beating it, so you shut your eyes and say that card doesn't exist. It's just not even worth considering at this point.
Finley into life tap was actually best case scenario at this point in the game. Maelstrom Paul not going to do too much.
Hello.
Flame Wreath, probably not the best play this turn.
Probably not too wise, no.
Can you tap into anything to deal with this and play Flame Wreath? Nope.
Just going to chip away at the 1 here. Unless B7 draws a superior minion to play, I imagine we will just see the backbreaking Reno come down. That is exactly what we're going to see. Is that going to be good enough for Palmblad, or is he going to see it out off the back of the little bit of extra hope that a 7/7 and a Warlock hero power gives him?
Yeah, even the Fireball as well means that, you know, Polymorph Fireball means B7's got anything he needs to deal with anything that could possibly come out from Palmblad. So, you know, final nails in the coffin now. Palmblad, of course, just going to, you know, play it out. Well, why not at this point? It's, you know, worst case, it's a... Okay. Well, rub it in, why don't you, B7?
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, worst case scenario, you spend a couple more turns playing some Hearthstone. Nothing wrong with that, just to see what you draw and what could potentially happen. So not going to be too much. And this does look like B7 is going to take this win and move up 5-2 with
5-1.
Oh, 5-1, of course. Sorry, yeah, I'm skipping ahead around. We've just, this isn't round 7. One more round after this, guys, but we'll go up 5-1. And, you know, even with his low tiebreak in the 4-1s at the moment, well, one, he's just beat one of the players with a higher tiebreaker.
Fair.
And also, he's 5-1. Like, if he goes 6-1, who cares about tiebreaks?
Yep. And B7 just going to let Palmblad know what's happening a turn earlier, let him give up the concede, get on with his day, and finally he looks happy about the game of Hearthstone, where many things, in fact, went his way. But very well played in the end as well. That timely Kazakus draw was everything, though. That turned a clunky-looking hand into an explosive hand. Frost Nova to lock up the board, and then the ability to play a 10-mana potion on turn 9. That was the big play that Palmblad was just not expecting, and you saw that surprise, that shock go through his face when it came out. And on top of that, the Dream Potion, the full sweep, even of the Aya, the combination of polymorph and damage, meaning any possible board just got nuked. and it was all just a formality from that point.
Yeah, the stars aligned and then continued to do so for a further 5 to 6 turns after that potion as well. But yeah, it's going to be great for B7 taking that win. And that's going to be pretty much it for the round, I believe. But we're going to check in with Frodan and Kibler now on the side set. How are you doing, guys?
What's up? Nothing much. Round 6 is in the books. We have what looks like to be shaping up to a top 8 soon. We have to figure out what's going to happen in the last round. Round 7 is where it all comes down to, Brian.
Yeah, these players have already battled through 6 rounds. 1 more to go, and then we'll have our top 8. So the top 8 will move on to play single elimination tomorrow, where the top 4 go on to the Bahamas next month, and then they will play it out for the champion.
Let's go ahead and take a look at the leaderboard to see where we sit after 6 rounds of play. We have 2 players undefeated who will go head-to-head and all but guarantee themselves into the top 8. So we have Sweep and Tom60229. Then we have Lojum, Yulsik, Samuel Tao, who you just saw on stream, Tansoku, familiar face from the top 8 last year of Last Call Invitational, and b787, who also was able to beat Palmblad in round number 6. And there are a lot of other players who are tied 4-2. It is possible for someone to get in. In fact, we'll be following some of them in round 7. So stay close to the screens, guys, because I believe round 7 is coming up very soon. So we're going to figure out who's going to the top 8. Because remember, on day number 2, we're going to play the top 8 to only the top 4 who go to the Bahamas, and then find the champion of Asia Pacific for winter. Brian, any fun candidates that you think, based off you've seen so far?
Well, I mean, I'm super excited to see Lojum doing well. He had the really unique lineup that I just kind of fell in love with. Both the only paladin around, the really innovative mid-range, just anti-aggro warlock. I love what he's doing with his lineup, and great to see him doing well.
All right, 10 hours to play into, and when it's time to go into round number 7, let's see what's going to happen in the final round of Swiss here at the HCT Winter Playoffs.